Hello, crafters. Today's story comes from AmItheAsshole from Repulsive Purple 7304. This one's titled AITA for losing my poop over cookies when my daughter-in-law tossed them out. I'm a good baker. I enjoy making sweet treats for everyone to enjoy. My daughter-in-law, Emily, is very health conscious, and even more so that they have 2 kids. She is the type of person who avoids sugars, mostly eats organic, and avoids processed foods. When the grandkids visit, I usually make cookies or something sweet for them to enjoy. Every single time she sees them, she usually goes on about how they are unhealthy. We got into an argument about this a few months ago, about not giving the kids junk. I pointed out everything is homemade and I am not only serving them cookies. My son stepped in on this and we compromised the kids can have 1 cookie when they are here. This was good for a while, until yesterday. The kids came over last night and I made a batch of cookies. They were cooling on the rack. Emily and my son decided to chat a bit before heading out. During that time, Emily went into the kitchen and threw away the cookies. When I asked her why she did it, she claimed she was doing me a favor since they were unhealthy. I yelled at her, saying that she had no right to throw away food that I had worked hard to make. She got defensive and said she was just trying to help. My son stepped in and told me to calm down, but I was furious. Emily left the room in tears, and now my son is saying I overreacted and should apologize. I told my son that I will not be babysitting until he handles the situation, and I am not apologizing. Now, there are some relevant comments. This one's from mFruitFly. NTA. Yes, parents get to decide how their children eat, and I think other people should respect that. Unless it creates a burden, aka if they want kids to eat vegan, but it's difficult to cook a separate meal, or they want specific foods but are unwilling to pay for those foods. In this case, you could not serve the kids cookies at all, even if you were doing them a favor by babysitting. But you all compromised and agreed the kids could each have a cookie. And your daughter-in-law didn't just decide her kids couldn't have cookies. She threw away cookies for you and that you made with your own ingredients. You need to clear with your son. You all agreed to this compromise, and it was incredibly rude for your daughter-in-law to throw away your own food in your own home, and there is no excuse for that. Would he be okay with you going into their home and opening up the cupboards and throwing away anything you wanted? No, of course not. If daughter-in-law had decided she didn't want her kids to have cookies, she could have said that. Instead, she destroyed your property. You have nothing to apologize for. You didn't even call her names. You just yelled at her about the exact thing she did wrong. She needs to apologize to you and fully recognize that she drastically overstepped in what is appropriate in someone else's home. She wasn't trying to help, and they both know that, and I wouldn't let them back in my home at all until they could fully appreciate that and apologize. There's a response to that comment from Huna Lisa. Daughter-in-law is going to screw up the kids. The minute they move out, they're going to binge eat all the unhealthy stuff. Happened to me. Took years to develop a healthy relationship with food. Let's read a comment from the other side of this. I didn't really see any that said that she was straight up an asshole. But this one from XX Queen of Swords XX says, ESH, obviously your daughter-in-law sucks for throwing out the cookies. It's disrespectful and controlling, a trait I'm sure ripples through many parts of her life, but especially regarding food and possibly her body. You pulled the "but I'm the grandmother" card with the cookies in general. To your daughter-in-law, sugar and processed foods are poison and horrible for her kids' bodies. It doesn't have to make sense to you. That's her position. Those are her kids, not yours. You had your chance to raise your kids. Now it's your son and daughter-in-law's turn. By continually pushing, you are dismissing her parental beliefs. To her, you're that overbearing mother-in-law who pushes sweets onto her kids. To you, you're not, but to her you are, and that's whose voice counts. It probably drives her crazy to know that they're still eating 1 cookie each, which most likely will lead to her throwing out all your cookies. I'm going to add my 2 cents to this. I'm on the side. It's kind of ESH. I've had issues where my mother has done things that I didn't approve of at all. It caused issues. My husband will never trust her again because of it. But My mother-in-law, she's very respectful on a lot of that stuff. And when I found out that she was giving my kids caffeine, we put a stop to that. But all that said, when the kids are with her over the summer, we don't put very many restrictions other than no caffeine. But that's the thing. The grandparents are supposed to spoil the kids. And there was a compromise made. Not sure why the husband didn't step in and sit here and tell her, hey, remind her, hey, there was a compromise here. Throwing away my mother's food isn't appropriate. But I think both of them need to apologize. All in all, I think what the mother is doing is very unhealthy. And I know it's coming from a place of wanting to be healthy. But when you completely deny somebody something, they're going to want to go for it when they have the chance. And I guarantee you, these kids are probably sneaking sweets and snacks and unhealthy things at school. And if they ever go to their friends' houses, I guarantee you they're going to be doing that there too. And once they move out of the house, like that person says, they're going to binge eat the worst foods they can and probably be spiteful against their mother for it, if not silently resentful. It's not exactly healthy. I know it comes from a healthy place, and it's good to want to have healthy habits, especially for your children, but we should be practicing moderation. And I do that with my kids. They're only allowed sodas on the weekends, and it's usually only 2 a day. My daughter, it's even less than that because she's got medical problems. So I don't deny her completely. That would be cruel. Even her pediatrician and her urologist are like, yeah, like once in a while, that's okay. But she can't have too many sugary drinks. All in all, I think it's kind of an ESH for me, but only to a certain point. So by the rules of AITA, she is not the asshole. All right, crafters. You have a wonderful day and happy crafting.